Hey everybody, welcome once again to Digi May's Pokemon Journey.
Ah. Oi.
We just watched the third Pokemon movie, Mystery of the Unknown, as it was known in English.
Yeah, and that weird Japanese title I've never seen, Entei, Lord of the Unknown Tower.
Yeah. And we also, of course, watched the short that came before it. There was some excitement going into this movie because this was your favorite growing up.
This was the movie that I'd seen 100 times as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because when it came out, we got it a little bit later, like maybe a year or two after it came out. It was the only Pokemon movie that I didn't get to go see in theaters, and I was really bummed out about it, but I got it on DVD. And around that time was when I was moving from my old house that I had lived in my whole entire life to New York. So there's a lot of like themes in this movie that just really stuck with me, and I fucking love Pokemon and being a nerd. So
yeah,
I love this shit. I had the soundtrack. Oh boy, I played that soundtrack all the time on that 7-hour car drive. Only that soundtrack. I probably listened to it.
God, what did your parents feel?
No, they bought me a Walkman.
Oh, okay.
They bought me a Walkman so I wouldn't make them listen to Brock singing about two perfect girls over and over again.
Oh, my lord. So, to start with this movie, of course, it opens with another Pikachu short film. This one's a little shorter even than the others. They had both previously been...
20 minutes or more.
Yeah, and this one was 17. And it's pretty entertaining. I definitely liked it more than the Rescue Adventure.
Oh, for sure.
This one's much closer to the Pikachu's Vacation, although I would say it's strongest at the very beginning, this short. It's about they go to a city that's clearly supposed to be like Manhattan or something, like some kind of New York City style city.
It's somewhere downstate.
Yeah, not like where we are, New York. We're in upstate New York, but they're in like a bustling city. There's lots of jazz in the soundtrack. It's definitely meant to be like a New York feel.
Yeah.
And Ash and friends are heading up to like a high-rise hotel, and Pikachu on the elevator
New York,
spots a pair of Pichus running around on the side of buildings. Yeah. I'll make it anywhere. That's my mom's like go-to karaoke song.
Amazing.
Anyways,
Sugoi.
Pikachu sees a pair of Pichu running around, and they're making fun of him, and they look fucking adorable.
Oh, they're the cutest fucking Pichu that ever Pichu'd. You have that notch ear Pichu shit.
Yeah.
That's garbage. You gotta get the Pichu bros.
You gotta get the Pichu brothers, one of which has the cute hair.
And the other one is just a bald boy. He's the little brother.
Yeah. And so, Pichu...
Oh, which one's your favorite? I gotta know.
I don't know if I mean, the cuter one's the one with the hair toss.
For shizzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought you'd be like, oh, Pikachu. Because I'm the big bro.
I didn't know he was an option.
He's not.
So they go. All the Pokemon go to this like rooftop party. Like the trainers just kind of leave them there while they set up something, and the Pokemon are all just chilling on the roof. Pikachu sees these two Pichus, and this is my favorite sequence in the whole short, which is just them like making faces at each other.
They're adorable.
Yeah, much like the Pikachu's Vacation short, there's just lots of funny...
They were slightly grotesque.
Yeah?
It was amazing.
There's lots of like squash and stretch animation with the faces.
Yeah.
They're all making like these really goofy expressions.
But it's not just like, oh, I want to stretch my cheeks. It's like, I want to stretch my eye socket and my tongue's coming out. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of detail. This is a beautifully animated short, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Almost better looking than the movie itself at times. Like, I don't know if anything in the movie lives up to the best sequence in this short.
Alright, there had some sexy cars in this short, which is surprising. You wouldn't think that Pokemon would have a lot of experience with cars.
Yeah.
Got some good cars, got some good landscapes, got some good buildings. The Pokemon are all moving good. In the actual movie, we got some shit CG.
The CG's fine.
It's a step down from the last movie.
Everything, I would say... every aspect of this movie is a step down from the last movie, but yeah, the CG is not as good. But yeah, the you're like vibrating. You're losing your mind. What is in that fucking fizz soda you're drinking? She's drinking this weird local soda we'd never tried before. Is that good? Ginger ale.
It's hard to talk after you drink it.
Oh, I don't want to drink it then. No.
It'll make you be quiet.
It's secretly just straight like absinthe.
No. I'm just loopy because like I haven't slept.
Yeah. So, so in Pikachu and Pichu, there's also a film called Pichu and Pichu.
So in Pokemon Channel, the main like program, because that show's all about television programs you get to watch with Pikachu.
It's a game where you watch TV with Pikachu.
I love Pokemon Channel, but it's a shit game. It also falls into that kind of category of things that I just was in love with when my life was falling apart and I had no friends. Yeah. And I became very attached to my Pokemons. Could not separate me and Pikachu. So I had to watch fucking Pichu shorts over and over again. But I had seen this short and the one from Pokemon Channel so many times where like I couldn't distinguish what had happened in each, and they all kind of meshed together. I
mean, I was searching for Pichu and Pichu because I remember the song "Side by Side It's Pichu and Pichu," which apparently is from the
channel
Pokemon Channel short, not from this
which was really disappointing because I was just clenching my butt cheeks like, when's the song coming? When's the song coming?
Never comes. So we have this great sequence of Pikachu and the Pichus like having like a sort of back and forth. Then Pikachu gets attacked by Murkrows that knock him off of a ledge, but he
almost dies.
Yeah, he almost dies, but he happens to land on Meowth, who's washing windows throughout this short for some reason.
Well, Team Rocket needs to earn money somehow, so they just enslave their Pokemon.
They're not even the adults aren't even in this. It's just Meowth washing windows. Yeah. Apropos of nothing, but anyway, one thing leads to another. Pikachu ends up with the Pichus, and he wants to get back to his building. And the Pichus are like, "Come with us. We know what's good. We'll get you back there." So he starts following them, and immediately they land him on top of a bus, and they fuck off to the other side of town. And Pikachu's like, "No!" And they're like, "Yes!" So that part is all my favorite part.
Yeah.
Then eventually they're going through the city, and we're seeing like how Pokemon are kind of integrated into the city, which is in some cool ways. There's in the river there's like gondolas that are like shaped like Dragonair and like a Lapras boat.
Yeah, a Lapras ship.
Yeah.
A Lapras cruise ship.
And eventually they end up upsetting a Houndour.
Yeah, Houndour. Houndoom's the big boy.
They upset a Houndour by, I think just running into it or something. I don't remember exactly what they did to it. But it gets pissed off and it chases them.
They, land on him.
Yeah.
They land on him and then he kind of, like, starts growling at them because he's really fucking confused as to what hit him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, there's electric mice, bitch." Yeah.
So they get chased by Houndour. They end up tricking him into getting crushed by a Snorlax. So now he's
is adorable.
He's extra pissed, but we don't see him again for a little bit. And with the Pichus, it
takes him a while to recover.
Yeah, the Pichus take Pikachu to this epic Pokemon playground. Now this is when I was a kid. This was like mesmerizing.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
It's beautiful. Like
I'm a big fan of playgrounds.
Yeah,
and like any kind of like secret fun kids play place kind of thing I've always been big into. I mean, you remember the other day we were at this fucking arcade. If you're a patron of mine on the $15 tier and you listen to the 2 weeks review, I talked about this arcade that we went to that was super janky, but they had this epic kids play place that was like way cooler than any play place.
It's the most intense
I've ever seen.
Ball pit. It has, like, guns.
Yeah, there's, like, turret guns that you can put ball pit balls into and fire them
crazy.
around
and it has,
this play place.
It has 4 layers.
Like, the amount of envy I felt at the sight of that I could never experience that. I don't understand why there's not play places for adults. This has been driving me insane for decades.
Yeah.
Why are there not, like, literally, even when I was a kid, I wanted this. Play places for adults. Because play places were never big enough for me.
No, yeah.
No matter how big they were. The only one that was big enough is at a theme park near me called... what the fuck is the theme park near me called? Not King's Dominion, the other one. The famous theme park in Virginia. I can't fucking remember the name of. The one that's like, it's like themed around European countries. Anyways, at that place, they have like this epic size, like, basically you go like 3 stories up and there's a rope bridge and like kind of a play place set up. And if you're a kid, it seems unbelievably huge. But by the time I was a grown-up, I was like, oh, man, that play place is so big, I'm going to go check it out. And I looked at it, I'm like, this felt big because I was small.
It's like the McDonald's play places. Like, I remember those being, huge. Like, the biggest, craziest things I've ever seen.
And now you could, like, jump over one.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, they get to this awesome Pokemon play place that is... totally impractical in the way that, because it's basically just a big stack of tires with paint all over it and like some weird like wires and shit coming off of it.
There's some weird shit going on.
But when they go inside of it, there's like a whole world in there.
It's like a whole Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, it's bigger.
Clockwork Planet.
It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, like House of Leaves. Like there's like a whole clock, like giant gears of like a Big Ben style clock, except somehow it's inside of this relatively thin looking tire
made
mountain.
Of tires.
And there's also a part where they're just like riding down this like wire that like is spiraling through a huge space.
That it might not have made any sense, but that looked fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching like a Disney cartoon.
Yeah, the animation
was phenomenal.
And so we just got a sequence of them like meeting other Pokemon and exploring this little Pokemon jungle gym.
Yeah.
And it's the introduction of a shitload of random Pokemon is handled much better.
How it should be done versus, because
in the previous one, they would literally just show up. It would just show us a picture of a Pokemon. It was
just like standard still art of the Pokemon. They weren't moving, and it was just different layers of them. Like, the backgrounds were cool, but the Pokemon were just fucking sliding. Like, there was no actual animation.
Yeah, and it was like an endless amount.
Oh, yeah.
Like the second
that
one
shit can go on forever.
It had tons and tons of just stills of Pokemon, and it really left no impression.
It felt like they just slapped the official artwork on like some beautiful painted background and just like slid it around.
Yeah,
like,
more or
look
less.
at this.
You can get the same effect by just going online and looking at pictures of Pokemon. In this movie, each one is introduced with at least some kind of bouncy, fun little sequence. Like, what was it, Cleffa that came up and then became like Cleffa comes up and then like a bouquet of Cleffa explodes out from behind it.
You screamed.
And I screamed because it was scary. There was a bunch there's just a bunch of cute little introductions.
Hitmontop was really cool.
Yeah, Hitmontop's
I think that's
cool.
the first time like Hitmontop is in animation.
I feel like Hitmontop would be really difficult to animate convincingly and therefore make sparing appearances.
Yeah. I was just really impressed with like how he moved.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Everything looks good. They hang out at this place for a little bit and then everybody goes home. And then, of course, when Pikachu and the Pichus are about to leave, Houndour shows up. And they have a little skirmish with Houndour, but they accidentally end up toppling the giant epic playground. They're trying to stop it from falling all the way. And, the Pichus call back all the Pokemon, and we get the sequence that is literally in all 3 of these films so far.
Yeah.
Which is where about 12 Pokemon all jump onto the same rope and are trying to hold it together.
It's that fucking rope aesthetic.
In the first movie, they're trying to pull Charizard out, and we've got, like, the whole... Like, this is just how the dramatic tension gets ramped
Yeah.
up in a Pikachu short, is...
Dramatic tension,
Yeah.
literally.
Literal rope tension. In the first movie, they're all trying to pull out Charizard. In the second movie, they're all trying to catch the
Execute.
the execute. And in this movie, they're trying to hold this thing from falling over. And at least this time, it made sense.
At least they weren't just pulling and then laxing and pulling.
And laxing.
Like,
Or in the other one, getting dropped down and then not blowing away again. In this one, it made some sense.
It didn't make sense, but it sort of was like, I could see why they would do it.
Yeah. And so they rescue the thing, then they all rebuild it, because they're all fucking handy as fuck.
It wasn't even just like them pulling a rope. They had like the string
spinnerets,
shots and the vine whips, and then there's a lot of
Yeah.
choreography.
So they save the structure, and then the Pichus take Pikachu home, and it turns out that the reason they've come to this rooftop soiree is that Ash is preparing this epic feast for Pikachu and friends to celebrate the anniversary of them meeting, which, when I was a kid, I was convinced that this broke the Pokemon chronology, because I thought they were celebrating 1 year.
Yeah, I did too. I was hella confused. I was like, 1 year?
Yeah.
How did that... What?
And they explicitly say...
it's been 3 years!
In the Return to Viridian City, they explicitly say it's been about a year since we started the adventure. But he doesn't actually say it's been 1 year. He just said, this is the day that we met. So it could be 2, 3, however many years it's been. It could be 0. Yeah. That
which it is.
Make any sense.
It's 0 years.
Well, technically, Ash always stays 10, so... Yeah. He can't age. But... So they have this huge rooftop soiree with all the Pokemon, and all I could think was, all these Pokemon have to be thinking, he wouldn't do this for me.
No.
Like, do you think all the other Pokemon just, like, respect Ash and Pikachu's relationship and are just, like,
they probably
okay
shit on
with
him
it?
constantly.
I mean, we know Chikorita's not okay with it.
No.
Because that's, like, her whole character, is that she's jealous of Pikachu.
Yeah, I feel like...
Doesn't express that in this short, though, even though
I feel like
there.
most of them just think that Pikachu is a brown nose.
Yeah. I think they don't think...
You don't...
I think most of them are dumb. Most of Ash's Pokemon tend to seem pretty dumb.
True. But
anyway, they have a big party at the end. Overall, I would probably give this one like a 7 out of 10. And I think I would have given it higher if it was all as much fun as the beginning. Because, like, the very beginning with just Pikachu and Pichu on the separate ledges, there's so much expressive animation, like, so fast. It really reminded me of Pikachu's Vacation. Once they get to the place and they're introducing all the Pokemon, that's fine and all. And the whole scene of them playing on the thing is still fun. But, like, pretty much as soon as everyone leaves and Houndour shows up and they try to do, like, a meaningful plot resolution, it's like, all right, we know where this is going. You don't have to spend 5 minutes showing all the Pokemon trying to save the structure for us to believe that it's gonna probably be fixed, I
really didn't like the whole chasing with the Houndour. I thought it was just like...
That was
I've
the weaker
seen
part.
this before. It's taking up so much time, and that's all that's going on.
Yeah.
It's just this chase sequence. And then they rely on a lot of, like, slapstick humor, which isn't good.
I mean...
And...
The Pikachu's Vacation did the slapstick a lot. The scene with Pikachu and Raichu running cheek to cheek in that.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you can't top that as a Pokemon running through a place. Because each one would tell a small narrative. They'd, like, emerge onto a scene that something was already happening there, and that was what made it funny. In this one, it's just very Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, like,
I definitely enjoyed this more than the rescue short.
Yeah. It's better than that for sure.
But it doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because I was confusing the other short with this one.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a better standalone piece. And I think it did have a lot more budget gone into it because it was for a video game and, like, it had a bigger role.
Yeah.
And it came out a couple years later, too. But I was just really disappointed because all the best parts were, like, things that weren't even gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it really did remind me that I love Johto Pokemon because I was like, all these guys are so cute.
You're such a big Gen 2 fan.
I just was, like, overwhelmed by that. I'd also give it a 7. Like,
I want to watch the Pichu and Pichu one too,
you
and
should.
like We in between shows, I discovered a tie-in short to the second movie, which was Slow King's Day.
Oh boy.
And it was just
a cute fest.
It was a 3-minute little short just about like what Slow King does in an average day that was never brought to America, never dubbed because it's a 3-minute short.
Minutes,
and like what would they do with it? But it's just 3 minutes of Slow King enjoying his day
and little kindergartners like narrating the whole thing.
Yeah, and as soon as I watched like 3 seconds of it, I paused it and I was like, let's save this for when she's home. And I forgot to show it to you the first day I discovered it. Then the next day, we were like, hey, let's smoke pot. And as soon as we had the idea, I was like, the first thing I want to do when we get high is watch Slow King's Day. And it was perfect. Because I felt like Slow King.
Yeah, it set the mood perfectly.
And yeah, that was a fun one.
It was fun.
It's nothing special, but it's fun.
Yeah, because it's just, I don't think they had any kind of special crazy budget to throw into it.
But it was making me realize just how much stuff there is with a Pokemon movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Pokemon's such a big and complex franchise that like there's just 1,000 little anime. There's tons of like little OVA specials, TV specials, just like random shit that's been made. And so like something like Pichu and Pichu, if not for the fact that you remembered it was in Pokemon Channel, I probably would have completely forgotten the existence of it. Like that there was a second, because I too thought that song came from this movie. I thought it was from the short.
Yeah, because it's a really fun song.
By side,
it's really fun and really catchy, and I think it would have made this a much stronger piece if it just took some of that and put it in here, but alas.
Well, we've talked about that for longer than the actual length of the short film.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the movie
itself. How is that possible?
That was like 23 minutes that we were
I just wanted to say, one thing I didn't like about it, too, was that it had a constant narration.
Yeah.
Which was cute, but it was annoying.
Yeah. And it wasn't, like, because in the Pikachu's Vacation, it was all Pokédex narration.
Yeah.
This one was just the show narrator, like, doing, like, a ho-ho, here's a funny way to put this situation.
Yeah.
But I like his voice a lot, so it didn't bother me
I do,
too
too.
But
if we weren't watching the English dub, I feel like that would have just been a total loss.
Yeah. Well, I
just thought it was interesting that like they decided to add more narration in each subsequent short.
They didn't though. The second one had less.
The first one had none at all.
The first one had tons of Pokédex narration.
Oh yeah, it did. It
was the Pokédex like described what was going on in every scene.
Yeah, the second one had like no narration at all. It's just like a whimsical.
Yeah, it was.
You're right.
Anyway, on to the film itself, the Mystery of the Unknown. So,
Lord of the Unknown Tower.
Yeah. So this film,
SMH.
Unlike the previous two, this one is. It leaves me with complicated feelings because the concept of it is so great, but the execution is a little not so much. This movie has big pacing issues. And
for sure.
Like that's its biggest problem. Is it's an incredibly simple and short story that probably could have been told in like 20 minutes, but it's a 73-minute movie, and that sounds short, but it feels way longer.
I am guilty. I did pass out.
Yeah.
A couple times. I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, you've been up for a long time, but this wouldn't have happened with Pokemon 2000, which you'd probably been up for almost
this
as much
movie
time.
was putting me to sleep.
Yeah. It's the thing is that, like, again, the plot could be done in so little time that it felt completely unnecessary for it to be as long as it was, and it felt longer than... Pokemon 2000 was an hour and 20 minutes, and this felt longer.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
But... So the opening scene, which is probably the cold open's probably the best part of the movie.
Strongest parts of the movie. That's what I was gonna say. Just because the setting,
yeah,
like this little girl's room, it is so detailed and it looks really fun. Like they have like the Phanpy slide and like the Ponyta rocking horse and like it's really comfy.
Donphan slide.
Was it Donphan?
It's a Donphan.
Well, there's a Phanpy in the movie, and
But
Yes,
she's got a
you're
Don fan slide.
I guess your memory of this room is just so perfect.
And a pony to a rocking horse.
And she just has this cute little girl bed, and her dad's in bed with her, and they're like reading a little storybook, and it's I'm a sucker for dads.
Yeah.
I don't know if this has become apparent.
Yeah.
But like I am so into like daddy daughter, just everything about it.
Yeah.
And cute dads and cute little girls.
Yeah.
They kill me.
And I am too. I love it. And the opening scene is like, it's a really great daddy-daughter scene because he's reading her out of this, like, this epically drawn book of legendary Pokemon.
Yes.
It's like artist renderings of legendary Pokemon.
They're really interesting too,
Yeah.
like to look at.
They're like a off-brand Yoshitaka Amano art or something. That's like, yeah, all these cool legendary Pokemon. And what's great about that is he's reading her this book because he literally researches this. Like his thing is that he's like trying to research the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically like showing her stuff that he likes and cares about, and she's totally into it. And then she's talking about how cool Entei is and how her dad is like Entei, and he goes, well, then I am Entei, and picks her up on his shoulders and runs around, and it's adorable. Then he gets an email, and his daughter's disappointed because emails mean he gets called out somewhere.
Yeah, and he has to go at that moment.
I don't know why, because it seems like it's the middle of the night.
It's a new development, though, that he has to go.
Wait till morning.
Well, of course, but he has to.
So they call him up and they tell him there's this new development with the unknown and this like pyramid. How far away was that?
I have no idea. It was light outside, so we could assume.
Was he flying somewhere? Because there's
He's rich.
There's like scenes where we see the unknown fly to or from there, and it doesn't seem that far.
I think that it's probably in the Johto region. I feel like it's not that far. Maybe a couple towns over. I feel like he didn't fly. But the thing that really gets to me is it's daytime where he's at.
I mean, it's just that the transitions
really
are very
awkward.
fast. Yeah, it never gives you a good sense of distance. I never thought about it till just now. I just assumed it was like right over there.
The girl goes, and then she goes to bed, and she's like sad because he has to go. But in the morning, she's like, "Oh, I saw your car." It's like you can assume that that's the next day.
So he drove there.
Yeah,
if it's his car.
But I'm really confused. If it was the same day, then why was it light? I don't
fucking know, man. Maybe it was the daytime in that opening scene. It just seemed like night because they're
it was definitely nighttime because the movie opens on a beautiful like scene. It's just the mansion and it's dark and there's flowers and it looks dope because they have those beautiful sunflowers that you don't ever see again.
Maybe it was early in the morning.
I don't know. No, because she's going to bed.
Well, in any case. It's a weird transition, but we didn't think about it at the time. So, so he goes off to investigate the unknown and gets there's a really kind of startling moment where the unknown first appears next to him and it's in CG and it's really jarring, but in a good way. Like I felt like it was intended to be jarring because the unknown are fucking weird.
Yeah, they can be really terrible CG and it's right.
Yeah, they're portrayed as being like some kind of bizarre monster. They kind of remind me. They remind me of like 80s horror monsters.
They remind me of the Langoliers. Stephen King's Langoliers. They are interdimensional beasts, and the movie is taking place in an airport, and it's a group of people are on a plane trying to escape the apocalypse because the Langoliers are literally eating this dimension.
Whoa!
And then it's a great movie. You have to watch it, but the CG is so amazingly bad. It is. It's great.
Well, in this movie, we've got these unknowns that are like simultaneously creepy and adorable.
Yes.
Which is why they remind me of 80s movie monsters. And like they basically just spirit away this girl's dad. And so
he goes into some weird place.
Yeah. And it's already been implied that her mom is not around, most likely dead. So they
never say though.
Yeah, so the dad's partner guy and like the girl's, I guess, butler of the house.
Yeah.
Basically break the news to her, your dad disappeared, and she gets depressed. She opens up this box of unknown characters that they for some reason have left
The
in her
dangerous
house.
unknown characters
Yeah.
that have sucked her dad into another dimension.
For some reason they left him in the house. Oh, I guess the guy was still there, so he was just in another room. But basically she knocks the unknown pieces over. And there's a really adorable moment
Where she's Scrabble.
She's saying, they look like letters. I'm gonna spell our names, and she writes out Papa, Mama, and me, and has them all linked together in like a Scrabble formation. And she's like, "See, we're all together."
That
and it's
was
like,
so adorably sad. It hurt.
And then from this comes a surge of power, and the unknown emerge. And the unknowns seem to be tapping into this girl's imagination and the images from her picture book, and they quickly turn her entire house to crystal. And everyone has to run because crystals are fucking taking over everything. Everything's getting crystallized, and they fuck off. And then, title screen. And that whole part is basically the whole movie. You really just need that sequence and then, the end.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem with this movie, is that it's a great idea. Little girl's imagination given, complete control over reality by a mysterious force. And because she's a girl whose parents are both gone, she's, really damaged. And you cannot convince her.
A lot of really fun things with a girl who's this fucked up, who has this much power, and who is this adorable. Yeah. But you will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because all they fucking do is Pokemon battles.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting thing.
From this point forward, most of the movie involves Pokemon battles. Because first, we have our requisite starting battle, which I had thought was in every movie. It wasn't in the second one, but this movie does start with a Pokemon battle with Ash and some
really hot girl
named Lisa, who's really cute.
Why is her name Lisa? She does not look like a Lisa.
Her name's probably Lisa in Japanese, Anyway, they fight this Lisa girl, and it's a pretty good Pokemon battle. It's a lot better than the one from the first movie.
It's really fun because of the setting.
Yes.
It's on a playground, and they take advantage of this space. They'll have Chikorita faint and then slide down the slide.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool. I like when the Pokemon battle interacts with the environment. I think that's a neat step. There's a lot of really cool animation and choreography.
Much better fight choreography. Because the first movie, I don't remember the fight at all. I don't know if that's because we were trying too hard to sing along to it, but
no, because we were trying to sing this one too.
That's true.
We sang it better.
Yeah,
we sang it.
because it was
better.
more accurate to the show.
Because it wasn't some boy band trying to be oh, making Pokemon sexy again.
No. So. They have a 4-on-4 battle, I want to say.
It's a 6-on-6.
It's basically showing off all Ash's new Johto Pokemon.
And showing off some other cool guys, like Girafarig.
Yeah.
I always remember that Girafarig.
Well, that was the girls.
Yeah,
right?
it's fucking
Are you sure
cool.
I thought it was just his 3 starters and Pikachu. Did he use anything else? I think it was just 4-on-4.
Maybe it might have been 4-on-4.
But, they've got a pretty fun battle. Ash ultimately prevails by the end with Pikachu doing a headbutt on Quagsire, which is a fun moment and a great way to end the song on a beat. So then they're all just hanging out, and they're like, oh, we're nearby to this cool city that apparently is super beautiful.
All the girls are like, I want to go to this city.
I called it out because we know in the opening scene that the main girl is rich, because the house that she and her dad live in is a fucking enormous mansion.
Yeah.
And this girl says something about this town, and Misty's like, oh my god, that town? I've always wanted to see it. And the other girl goes, me too. And I was like, 2 chicks both really want to see the same city since they were little girls. It's where rich people live. It's sure enough, that's what it is. Both the girls are excited about it because apparently there's a big, beautiful mansion at the top of a big, beautiful hill with big, beautiful flowers in a big, beautiful town. And they're sick. Brock's like, everything's beautiful. I can't wait to see the ladies. Brock is Donatello.
Oh, it's such a great joke. This
That
is
a
where
great joke.
I call it. The jokes from here, they aren't as good as in the first two movies. Like, Team Rocket has some good lines.
Team Rocket's jokes are pretty on point.
Well, Team Rocket's so
The
meta.
second movie had the best. Team Rocket, as they get more meta in this movie, started annoying me.
Yeah.
They
got too meta.
Team Rocket has some great zingers in the early part of the movie, but in the later half, most of their dialogue is literally just addressing the fact that they really have no place in this movie and are like just there because they have to be there.
And it's kind of really distracting. Like,
Yeah.
it takes you out of the movie.
I wouldn't have thought about it if they
hard.
hadn't mentioned it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can't stop thinking about it because
Actually,
the
that's not
movie
true
is-
because I actually said, or like
Yeah,
before
I
they
know.
started that, I actually said, "Why are Team Rocket in this movie? Like, what are they doing here?" Because I couldn't remember what their motivation
really
was.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Their motivation was we think there might be cool Pokemon in this
Yeah.
tower.
So
So we're gonna just jump on the bandwagon.
they emerge onto the town, and the whole fucking town's turned to crystal. Like, it's expanding from the mansion outward. There's a great line where Jessie is observing the place, and she's like, "Oh, it's just like I imagined. A beautiful meadow that gives way to a horrifying crystal wasteland that's strangely engulfing Wait a minute." And yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And so they show up, and basically they're all just like, "Well, what the fuck's
So-
happening here?"
Gotta ask your opinion.
Yeah.
How are you feeling this crystal decor?
The crystal stuff looks cool.
I think so too.
This movie has lots of cool visuals. The only problem is that nothing really happens in those places.
Yes.
And I don't think they're I don't know. They're like, it's like everything looks cool, but not so cool that the movie can stand on just looking cool.
No, definitely.
Like, it's not Angel's
not
Egg,
that
you know?
cool.
It's not like, it's not Kino. It's,
And it just feels really strange because why crystal?
yeah.
Like,
Well, it was in the book, and it's what the little girl's imagining. She seems to be way into crystal.
I guess so.
I think they wanted something that would be simultaneously something a little girl would think is pretty, but what also looks menacing.
And they could sell the next game. The crystal.
Pokemon Crystal. That's fair.
Crystal.
So everything's turned to crystal, and everyone's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And this is where the movie starts to get bogged down.
Yeah.
Because we've got, again, the opening scene was great. The action scene was pretty okay. But at this point, we start getting hit with lots of repetitive expository dialogue explaining shit we already figured out. There's like a whole scene of a newscaster explaining like in detail.
Completely unnecessary.
Oh, there's
because we just saw what went down.
Yeah.
We don't need somebody else to just
explain literally
what we saw and what was
Yeah.
explained to us while it was happening.
Yeah. So and this is all being presented like it's a big mystery, but we already know. Like, they're going, "Oh, what could possibly be causing this crystallization?" And then
And the freaking news people keep showing up.
yeah.
It's not like they just stop there. They have like 2 more appearances after that, and
Yeah.
it doesn't, like, it's weird.
Well, then we're sitting around and we find out, and this is probably my favorite thing about the movie overall, is the connection to Ash's mom and all of this.
Yeah.
Because the little girl, Molly, who's causing all these problems. Molly was a good girl. Molly was a good girl. Molly was a good girl, and it felt great to be a liar. That's actually the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
She felt great to be a liar in this movie.
It felt great.
Anyway, Molly, her dad was apparently like best friends with Ash's mom. They both knew each other when they were young. I guess he was like Professor Oak's student, and she was just
you know what I
the
think
neighborhood girl.
happened?
I think
Ash's mom cucked him.
she cucked him. I
Yeah.
think he cucked her.
Oh.
I think because he seemed like he was older.
Yeah.
I think she probably liked him, but he
Maybe.
married some other girl.
Maybe. There's definitely some kind of fruity
Some kind of
love
cuck
triangle
going
on.
on. But yeah, so they knew each other when they were young, and as soon as she hears this news on the TV, she's like, "Oh shit, like, you know, I can't believe another bad thing's happened to her." I think his name was Spencer, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh no, Spencer's been through so much," and she gets in the car, and her and Oak show up to this place, and they're gonna I don't know, research or whatever. Now, Professor Oak is another character who in this movie all of his dialogue is fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Because Professor Oak literally just explains shit to us we've already figured out. There's a whole scene of him, like, they're going through the research on the unknowns and, like, saying, oh, it's probably the unknowns that are causing all this. And we're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We saw the unknowns cause this.
And we saw.
Yeah. So again, it's just that this concept, it's like the opening scene was too good. They gave us, like, too much information there. And
they gotta dumb it down, put it into bite-sized pieces.
I mean, if they hadn't given us so much info, then we would have at this point been wondering what the fuck is up with this giant crystal thing. But, like, we literally saw it. Yeah. So at this point, it's just spinning its wheels for a little bit. And then the news crew and stuff are, like, trying to send bulldozers in and stuff, and they get destroyed. And the little girl is like, everyone needs to fuck off. Oh, and also she's got an Entei with her because she wished for her papa to come back, and since she imagines her papa as an Entei, since in the opening scene he says, I am
He comes
Entei.
back in his true form.
Yeah, which is Entei, which is great. The
the
use of Entei in this movie is fucking awesome. The idea of Entei being a representation of the girl's dad, and he fully believes he is her father because that's the nature of the power, is that she makes whatever she wants real. So Entei just sees himself as I am. Oh my god, I wrote this character too.
Yeah.
In my book. The character who's exactly the same character, Oni-chan. His name is Oni-chan in my book. I wrote this exact same character, and I didn't even realize it until now. 6 years ago? Anyway.
Full circle. Everything is full circle.
I blew my own mind just now.
Whoa.
Anyway, Entei, is her papa. And he's voiced by Dan Green, the voice of older Yugi in Yu-Gi-Oh! I wish I could go as deep as he can. Perfect
casting.
Awesome casting. Dan Green has a great voice.
2 thumbs up.
So Dan Green, he's with the girl and they're watching the TV broadcast, and she sees Ash's mom, and she knows that Ash's mom was friends with her dad because she's got pictures of them. And so she says,
pictures are really creepy. Like, all there is just 2 pictures.
Yeah.
And you gotta be thinking, like, how much does she look at those pictures and just think about her dead mom?
Yeah.
Or, like, Ash's mom. And, like, are those the only pictures she has of her dead mom? Like, doesn't she have other pictures in her room? Well, I don't know. It just is freaky.
It's just convenient for the plot to have those 2 pictures.
But it's just alarming.
One picture that exposes the fact that she once had a mother, and another picture which exposes the fact that her dad knows her.
The
Ash's
pictures,
mom.
I feel like, are just too obvious for me.
Yeah, I never thought about it until you pointed it out just now.
Because, like, they kind of show the 2 pictures during that opening sequence.
Yeah.
And, like, they keep showing them again and again.
Room? Like, I could see them being in his room, but why are they in her room?
Because they want you to see the picture so you can draw the conclusion, like, oh, Ash's mom is connected. They're connected. It's all connected.
Yeah, everything's
But we
connected.
only needed to see it for half a second. We didn't have to keep going back to these creepy fucking pictures.
Yeah.
And
I never thought of those creepy fucking pictures.
They're definitely creepy.
I can see it. So
it's like some shit you'd see in a horror movie.
So she tells,
like, foreshadowing.
She tells Entei, I want a mama as well. So
Entei goes out and fetches this girl, mama.
Yeah, go get Ash's mom. And so we get entreated to one of my favorite lines in film history that I've been quoting since I was like 12. Because I didn't catch it when I saw this in theaters. I caught it on the rewatch, when I noticed this amazing line. Where Entei literally comes fucking running out of nowhere up to...
It's an amazing sequence. Him jumping on the crystals, like...
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
We've got
it's
Ash...
a real show of power.
Ash and friends, his mom, Oak, they're all just sitting out on, like, having tea. And Entei just comes busting in out of nowhere. And Ash's mom's like, what the fuck do you want? And he's like, I'm here for you. You are mama! And by saying that in the awesomest voice ever, he instantly hypnotizes Ash's mom into believing that she is in fact Mama. So Entei just puts her on his back and carries her off. Ash and Pikachu try to stop him. She's gone. Ash is like really pissed off that he couldn't save his mom. Now this is my favorite thematic thing going on in this movie, is the idea that Molly, her mom is dead, and she just lost her dad to the unknown. Meanwhile, Ash, who has never been shown to have a father, loses...
Actually, interesting side information.
Okay.
I had the DVD of this, which I watched religiously for, a couple times. A hot sec. There was a commentary by one of the directors of the movie.
ADR director. The American dub director.
And he was saying that Giovanni was Ash's dad.
But is this his theory?
No.
Is this like canon?
It's not canon.
Okay.
But this is what this guy was saying.
The ADR director
and he
says
gave
so.
some really good like points, basically saying like Ash is similar to him because they're both prodigy trainers. And they're both hot-headed. And they both have brown hair.
Is Giovanni even hot-headed?
He has brown hair. Ash has black hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it holds up that well.
It doesn't hold up that well, but it was really interesting to think about. And I still think about
from
it From
Ash's perspective, he has no father. And his mom is taken away by the unknowns by this girl's will. So she's kind of put Ash in the position that she is in. Which is, fuck you, you took my mom, So
do unto others as you know. That's all you know. You got to do it on to others.
If that is what you wish. Yes. Which is Entei's repeated line throughout the movie. So Ash is pissed off and he wants to get his mom back. I'm surprised he doesn't actually confront Molly with this fact that I've brought up here, that she has done to him what had happened
because
to her.
That's too heavy.
Well, because there's a lot of the end of this movie is them trying to convince Molly that what she's doing is wrong and they should come with them. I think that would have been a pretty powerful thing to hit her with,
too.
But anyways, So this is where we embark on phase 2 of this movie, which is breaking into the Crystal Castle. And it's just a lot of time breaking into this place.
They spend a lot of time setting up. Yeah,
there's a lot of setup. Team Rocket gets shot down trying to get in. So
my absolute least favorite part of this movie is when Team Rocket is literally oh, look at this crystal tower. I bet there's some cool Pokemon in it.
Yeah.
Let's go in there. It's basically how...
It literally just shoehorns them into the movie. And they have no business being there, as they will later address in the film exhaustively. Mm-hmm. So, Ash and Co. are going into the building, and Ash is using his Pokemon to get through some obstacles. It's nothing that the scene of... There's one scene where Bulbasaur and Chikorita use Vine Whip, and he ascends up a little waterfall. That's, whatever. Yeah. He still has Bulbasaur, huh?
I think it's interesting
given away,
he has
all his other Pokemon.
And Bulbasaur.
Yeah, which he later does give away Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
But, he lasted a lot longer than the rest of Ash's Gen 1 Pokemon. But anyway, Chikorita and Bulbasaur help him up, and that's fine, but, it's not that impressive.
No.
Then there's a scene where he uses Cyndaquil and Brock uses Vulpix to blow a hole in the crystal, and then they have their water Pokemon shoot water through the hole so it won't reform.
I thought that was a really cool
That was cool.
Scene. Just the way they animated the fire blast and the water gun.
The fucking effects animation in these movies is always
really
amazing.
Cool.
It's always some of the best effects animation you'll see, which, I mean, I imagine that when they go into making a Pokemon movie, those are the first guys they hire.
Yeah.
It's we know we're going to need effects animation because all the Pokemon have attacks that use special effects and they always look fucking awesome. But yeah, so that's an okay sequence, but it's just this kind of treading water feeling of well, I guess you could say wading water feeling.
Wading.
Because there's a whole argument about whether they are walking or wading among Team Rocket.
Yeah. It's a real zinger.
Yeah. That joke made no sense to me as a kid because I didn't know what waiting was. And as an adult, I'm just like, why is this line in the movie?
It's stupid. It's pretty bad.
So anyways, this movie is just kind of wading through its midsection. There's just a lot of them. I mean, basically the whole thing is like, we know what the point is. They got to get to Molly.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that is this movie, is we got to get to Molly.
How can we kill 15 minutes? Oh, let's have them breaking into the castle.
So Ash's mom at one point sees him doing all this on the TV, and she like wakes up. She remembers that who she is, but she's trying to play along because she gets what's going on here. You know, she's the eyes on the inside, if you will.
When she like starts being like recognizing Ash, the look that Entei gives her is just like, don't you say it.
Yeah,
don't you say it, bitch.
So
it's great. I love Entei.
I'm trying to remember if anything really happens in between this and when they emerge into the first, like, fantasy world. Like, is there anything between them breaking in that? Or is that just what it goes into?
Molly just gets really excited because she's seeing Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I like a Pokemon. I sure wish I was a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah. So yeah, all that happens really is that she sees Ash using his Pokemon to get in. She wants to also use Pokemon. So she asks Entei to make her a trainer, and she doesn't think she's old enough. So Entei creates, like basically she's asleep while this is happening.
This is the most confusing thing that's ever happened, because she's still in the room with Ash's mom.
Right.
Sleeping.
It's when she's asleep, then she has like a separate body within the world, because this whole world is her dreams and imagination. So while she's asleep, there's another version of her that's with Entei. And that version, Entei ages up to be a grown-up so that she can be a Pokemon trainer.
And she's hot.
Yeah, she's really cute.
She's really hot.
And then they emerge onto this like fantasy landscape, which is like a beautiful field of flowers. Mm-hmm. And she Pokemon battles Brock. And it's not a particularly exciting battle. She uses some cute Pokemon.
Her Pokemon are too strong.
Yeah, well, that's the idea, is that, like, she's got illusion Pokemon, so she can just automatically win.
Yeah.
But the problem is, that's established pretty quickly, so watching the fight is not that interesting, because we know she's gonna win. So it's just kind of watching her bulldoze Brock's Pokemon while the other guys continue up to the next level. It's one of those, this is a common movie trope of, like, the you go ahead, I'll stay here battle, you know, but, like, it's pointless because it doesn't change anything about the narrative. Because Ash and Misty make it to the next level, and Molly's already beaten Brock, and she comes up, and she's like, all right, I want to fight another one of you. And so Misty steps up to bat. And so they have a water Pokemon battle. This is all
just wasting time.
Yeah.
Nothing is happening.
They have an underwater Pokemon battle.
The underwater battle is kind of cool because it's underwater.
Again, like, the imagery of the film is cool, and the ideas... But it's not.
But it's still just a dumb Pokemon battle that doesn't need to be happening.
It would be like the giant field of flowers or the oceanside place. The problem is they look too normal. Like, this is a dream place. And, like, the crystals and everything look totally dreamlike and cool. When they get to, like, the field of flowers, it should have, like, a dreamy color palette.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, it just looks like she's outside in Greenville.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a wasted opportunity to do something trippier with the visuals, you know? Instead, we've just got these two Pokemon battles in fairly normal locations that aren't that exciting to watch because we know Molly's going to win.
Yeah,
because the Pokemon are overpowered.
They could be doing anything. It doesn't even have to be a Pokemon battle.
Yeah.
Like...
This movie just decided to be a bunch of Pokemon battles when it could have been literally anything else. It could have just been a fucking weird art house movie with like a bunch of trippy shit. And again, if you told me as a kid, like, there's going to be a movie that's nothing but Pokemon battles, I would have been excited. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's no stakes in these Pokemon battles because we know Molly will win. And that's kind of the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So Ash makes it up to the top floor. He sees his mom. He's like, all right, we got to get the fuck out of here. Take Molly. Let's go. Molly beats Misty. They wake her up. And they're like, let's get out of here. She's like, no.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to leave. My fucking papa's here. And this is where she turns the whole place into crazy spikes. Like, all the crystals become spiky crystals. And
this is when the point where I could not keep my eyes open.
Well, because this is the point where this movie simultaneously finally starts having a plot again, but also bogs itself down in way more unnecessary shit. Because basically the dramatic thrust of this part of the movie is that they're trying to convince Molly to come with them and to stop believing in this illusion.
Yeah.
And this is on the backdrop of a massive amount of fighting. Now, the weakest part of this, I want to say this is like probably the weakest part of the whole movie, is when Ash tries to fight off Entei with his fucking basic bitch Pokemon. Oh my god. Because he's like, I'm not going to let you take my mom. So he, like, tries to fight Entei with a Totodile and a fucking Cyndaquil. Because where this movie has met an unfortunate fate is in that at this point in the show, Ash has no powerful Pokemon.
Yeah, he had just started over in Johto, so all he has is, like, the starters.
He's probably got Lapras, but Lapras isn't good on land.
No, he doesn't have Lapras. No? He has Noctowl, he has the 3 starters, he has Pikachu and Bulbasaur.
Yeah, so he does not have shit with which to fight this. He uses Noctowl in the opening fight, so he did use more than just a starter.
Yeah, I think he used all 6.
He's got nothing to fight Entei with, so he puts up this really pathetic resistance. Now, it has been foreshadowed in this movie that Ash's Charizard, who's been in this
slinging puss.
Yeah, who lives in like the Valley of the Charizard Pussy, where he gets mad Charizard tail. Has happened to see Ash on the news going into this tower, and he that's all we saw was that little bit of foreshadowing. And of course, at the most dramatic moment when Ash and Pikachu get knocked out a window, Charizard flies in and rescues them. So basically, they had to bring Charizard in so Ash would have any Pokemon that could fight Entei, and because who doesn't want to watch Charizard and Entei fight?
Charizard's cool.
It's a cool idea. I had forgotten that Charizard. You know what? I think when I saw this as a kid, I didn't even know that Ash didn't have Charizard anymore. In fact, I don't know if the show had reached that point in the American run.
I don't remember seeing that episode. I think
I've
it
never
was like
seen
an episode that was just not shown a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because like it definitely happened in the Orange Islands. It's kind of like how the Orange Islands ended.
Like
I think I may have seen it. Like,
I've never seen it,
twice.
but like I think when I was a kid, I probably just straight up thought he still had Charizard, and that's why he's in the movie. But like, no, he's off. Charizard's off elsewhere, but he comes in and saves Ash, and enters this big ass battle with Entei. The Charizard fighting Entei is fine. It goes on too long.
It does.
It is quite a battle.
Most of my memories of this movie are the fight.
Yeah,
because
me
it's
too.
a really long fight.
It's a long-ass fight of Charizard versus Entei, which I think I would have been a lot more okay with had we not just watched nothing but ineffectual Pokemon battles for half an hour. Like, both the Brock and Misty battle and Ash's weak-ass Pokemon trying to fight Entei, all of that felt totally unnecessary in the wake of, like, Charizard versus Entei. This should have been the big Pokemon battle in the movie. And then the length of it wouldn't have felt so fucking insane. So while Charizard versus Entei is happening, they're all trying to, talk to Molly, talk her down, essentially tell her, like, look, in reality, like, if you come to the real world, you'll have family and friends there. Like, Ash treats his Pokemon like family, his friends are like family. You can have this if you come back to reality. So finally, Molly's like, okay, I want reality, bring it all back. And, Entei's like, well, if you do that, I have to go away, but, like, we can do that. Well, unfortunately, at this point, this is where we get into the really unnecessary distended climax of the movie, which is arguably the worst part, if I didn't already say that about Ash's ineffectual Pokemon battling. Because at this point, everything starts going crazy. Spikes start emerging out of everywhere. The whole thing's falling apart because the unknowns have consumed too much psychic energy and they can't control it anymore. So they're going crazy. And there's just a really lengthy escape sequence. By the way, at this point in the movie, Team Rocket's dialogue has become nothing but them complaining about being in the movie when they didn't need to be there. So everyone's trying to escape the building, and it's going on and on. Like, the scene is just, like, really drags, and this is where you were, like, fully asleep.
I have no recollection.
I was, like, trying to wake you up. But
I was done.
it's just a bunch of crystals exploding out of shit and people
Yeah.
going, "Whoa, we gotta get out of here." So finally they get to where the unknown are and they're spiraling out of control. And Entei is like, "I'm gonna try to stop this. Molly, if you really believe I can do this, then I'll be able to, because anything you believe is true here." So basically the unknown have a really interesting catch-22 in their power, which is that they are powerful enough to give you the power to be stronger than them, because they can make you able to do whatever you imagine. And so if you imagine that you can make them not able to do that, then they can't do that.
I just don't get why she didn't just wish for her real dad.
Yeah, I don't know why that's the case.
She kind of just be like a normal.
I have no idea.
Be like, oh, I wish my daddy was back. Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
Well, that would defeat. We'd have no movie. So
yeah.
So she
That'd
believes.
Probably be better.
She believes in Entei really hard. There's an overly long sequence of him going like, believe in me, Molly," and she's like, "I believe in you, Entei," and he's like, "Ah!" And so he beats back the unknown. Everything turns back to normal. It's a happy ending, and the credit sequence actually has more narrative in it than half of the movie, because we see her dad comes back. We see that she gets a Teddy Ursa in real life instead of the fake one she had in the illusions. That was one of her Pokemon. Her dad apparently remarries, and so she gets a new mommy.
She doesn't care if it's her old mommy. She just wants a mom.
Yeah, Professor Oak falls off a couch.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. Yeah, credit sequence is fine. So again, overall, this movie, it's got some great moments. It's got some great lines of dialogue.
You forgot to talk about Tracy.
Tracy makes a very brief appearance.
That's all we have to say about Tracy.
There's great lines of dialogue, like "You are Mama."
You are Mama.
And Team Rocket has a couple funny lines early on.
Yeah,
there's some cool moments.
And Entei and Molly are adorable.
Entei and Molly are fucking great. Like, those two are unarguably great aspects of this movie. And, like, the whole idea is really good.
Yeah.
The idea of this little girl who's got no parents, like, surging with psychic power, who, you know, is raking destruction because of her emotional instability. And, like, that trying to talk her down is essentially the only way to bring it back to normal. Great idea. But why does that manifest as an hour of Pokemon battles and trying to break into a crystal castle? I don't know.
The world will
and
never
it feels
know.
so long.
There are no known unknowns.
No, there's only unknown unknowns. And,
yeah.
And
known unknowns.
Known knowns and known unknowns. But, oh god.
Entei is the lord of the unknown tower.
Yeah.
That's all I learned today.
So overall,
he's the lord.
What would you score
Lord.
this movie? I think I would give it a 6.
Oh. I was gonna give it a 5.
Yeah? I might give it a 5 too if you're going
Because I literally couldn't stay awake.
I would give it like a strong 5 because I still like it, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I wouldn't really watch it again. Like if I was gonna get out a Pokemon
I was
movie.
so disappointed.
Yeah.
I was so hyped to watch this.
I have a lot of fond memories of those moments, you know, the moments I like of this movie, but yeah, watching it again, it was kind of a slog. So I'd probably mark it as a 5 on Mal. But a strong 5.
I give it a 5.5.
Yeah.
But the only thing I really liked about it was the dynamic of Molly and Entei. And I've seen better father-daughter dynamics in a porn. So I mean, I've evolved. I've stepped up.
I'm really shocked
world.
that you can give this movie such a low score when you were so hyped about it. Is it the disappointment that makes it even harsher?
Maybe tomorrow morning I'll be like, oh, I changed my mind. I'm giving it a 6.
Yeah.
It's between a 5 and a 6. Maybe I'll have to rewatch that fight sequence of Charizard and Entei. Maybe that'll boost it up.
I don't know. It was kind of boring.
But there's a lot of the movie
cool
that
moments
it's
there,
boring and
it just feels like such a step down from the previous films where the first one, while it was a little uneven, had a really interesting like villain and premise, and it had like more great moments in it.
I feel like the other movies had something interesting to say.
Yeah.
Like, even the last movie has something about environmentalism, and the first movie was all about, like, the ethics of just science and cloning. This movie didn't have anything to say.
No. It's an interesting concept for a story that, again, if this was, like, a maybe 30-minute movie about, like, just take the opening scene and then, like, skip straight to the fight with Charizard versus Entei and everything that comes after that, you'd have an interesting little short film. You know?
Like, I agree with you when you said that everything in this movie was a step down from the last movie.
Yeah.
I definitely
Animation's
feel that
a step
way.
down.
Especially if the animation, that's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Like
the artwork is really good. Like, the background art is really gorgeous. Which was not necessarily a strength of the last movie. Like, it's more detailed than ever before, I would say. They were definitely going for, like, this gorgeous painted backgrounds but again, I was kind of, when we were going through the movie, I was kind of thinking of it as, this is more of a visual movie. This is more about, like, cool locations. But then when we actually got to those locations, they weren't as cool as I was expecting.
No, there's no location that's sorry. The two coolest locations were the playground where the battle was taking place.
Yeah.
And the little girl's bedroom.
Yeah. Which were not even fantasy locations.
Nope. And they were within the first, 5 minutes of the movie.
I think the little girl's bedroom post-crystallization is also pretty cool. Where she's got, like, the gigantic, like, flowing crystal over her bed with big flowers on it and stuff.
I think I might have missed that.
Yeah. Well.
But I'm just disappointed because they had this opportunity to do a lot of really cool things there, and like a little girl's
literally
mind.
Anything could have happened, and it was just
Pokemon battles and crystals.
So yeah, I would say this is not the strongest Pokemon movie. It's not Pokemon Kino. I'm thinking about making I'm thinking about watching every installation of the Pokemon franchise ever and making a Pokemon Kino chart of all the episodes and movies that are Pokemon Kino. Like Pikachu's Vacation is Pokemon Kino. And possibly just that and nothing else in the entire franchise, but who knows? Someone
someone in Sun and Moon.
Someone made a bet with me. I don't know how serious they are. I don't remember if it was on Reddit or a YouTube comment, but I think it was on my scoring every show I finished video, and I was talking about Pokemon, and they said, I'll bet you $100 that you couldn't watch all of the original Indigo League, all 80 episodes, and come out of it with an unironically, like, positive opinion. And I was like, you're on. Because I know I can. I've seen a lot of those episodes as an adult, and they're still great.
Yeah.
I think that guy would take back that bet if he listened to the first 2 episodes of this podcast, where we gave, like, insanely glowing reviews to Pokemon movies. He'd probably realize that we like Pokemon way too much. But hey, we were critical of this one. We were harsh on this one. That's it. See you next week, guys, when we talk about a Pokemon movie that I didn't even like as a kid. So this might end up being more brutal. The fourth one is
my little sister's favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
The Celebi movie?
Yeah. I remember when the third movie came out, there was like a trailer for the little short, and my sister could swear to God that she could perfectly translate what the announcer was saying, even though it was in Japanese, and she would just go around the house pretending she could, like, translate the short, and she got super hyped for it. And
Pokemon 4
Forever. It's 5 ever.
Pokemon Forever is gay. That's going to be my thesis of the next episode. That is the gayest movie I've ever seen in my life. So get ready next time.
Hold on
for Pokemon Forever, the gay one. See you then.
Peace.